Hi, Sam. This is Tom from Monona, Wisconsin.
Tom, welcome to the program.
Could you say that again? You sound like you're talking underwater to me.
I do.
He is underwater.
Tom, are you there?
Nope. But I'll just make a quick comment, and that's all I have. And I beg all your pardons. I'm a little bit day behind here, so I'm not up to date on what the discussion was today. And I just wanted to interject something about yesterday with respect to the Wisconsin election. And this is apropos of nothing except to say that when Tony Evers won the governorship election, it was pointed out, unbelievably so, by the likes of Robin Voss, who is the Assembly Majority Leader, that but for Milwaukee County and Dane County, well, he wouldn't have won. And it just goes to show the sort of attitude of, well, yeah, where the population is, people will vote for a Democrat quite often. And somehow that's not legitimate because I guess we decided that land mass was more important than actual individuals voting. So this is the kind of thing that we're always up against. And I'm sure it relates to the discussion today. It certainly relates to the discussion yesterday. In any case, I appreciate all of the shows you guys do. You're all very good. I learned so much from listening to all of you. I'll get off the phone and let somebody else on, but thank you so much for doing what you do, okay?
Thanks for the call.
Thanks, Stacey.
Let me try and call back in and see what's going on with my system. I may have a little bit of an issue. Let's do...
Thank you for calling into
the
Majority Report.
Let's play this clip, though, in the meantime, Brendan. We've been talking about, one of the points I wanted to make very early on about Sanders' speech is, or I should say, address, as it were, to the country in terms of him dropping out, was just remember that Elizabeth Warren still has not endorsed Joe Biden. She said he was a really good guy. Bernie Sanders said the same thing. Really good guy. No explicit endorsement. We spoke to Josh Orton, who's senior policy director and senior advisor, said that when Bernie Sanders endorses him, we'll know that. And whereas I do not remember, I heard criticism from the left, Elizabeth Warren should be endorsing Bernie Sanders. But I don't remember any criticism of she's not endorsing Joe Biden enough. And I don't know if anybody has seen that recently, let me know. But let's play this video from CNN where apparently not enough by Bernie Sanders.
Today, I congratulate Joe Biden, a very decent man who I will work with to move our progressive ideas forward.
Is Senator Sanders, in saying goodbye, did acknowledge that Joe Biden had an insurmountable lead, but he didn't say anything nice about Joe Biden. He did not say he had spoken to him. He did not say he would work with him. He said it was imperative.
Now, wait a second. To be fair, John King rolled that piece of tape 3 minutes before he said this. So there is a I think the guy who tweeted this out did cut. So there's really 3 minutes. Now, 3 minutes is a long time. You can forget what you've heard sometimes, or maybe you're just not paying attention. But here's John King. He's got a story. He wants to go with it no matter what. Roll it back so that people get this, so that people listen to what Bernie said. 3 minutes later, John King says, I never heard it.
Today, I congratulate Joe Biden, a very decent man who I will work with to move our progressive ideas forward.
Is Senator Sanders, in saying goodbye, did acknowledge that Joe Biden had an insurmountable lead, but he didn't say anything nice about Joe Biden. He did not say he had spoken to him. He did not say he would work with him. He said it was imperative to beat President Trump, but there was no big embrace of Joe Biden. He said nicer things about Joe Biden back during some of the Democratic debates than he said in saying goodbye.
Oh, well, poor John King. He didn't get a chance to listen to the tape that he just ran. Sometimes that happens. Somebody's talking to you here, you're rolling some video, pay attention to it, and then you come out and you make an ass of yourself.
But who cares?
Well,
if that's the thing he leads with. And then, by the way, they all echoed it because I watched it right before I came on in real time. They all echoed the point. They kept going, doubling down.
God.
That's the most important thing to bring up in this moment. Even if that's the case, they still can't hold back. They can't hold back on shitting on a guy when he's down in the middle of a pandemic. I'm sorry, but this is
they're already pivoting clearly to coming up with places to point the blame when Biden loses really badly to Trump. So, I mean, no matter what Bernie had said on that video, it probably wouldn't have been enough for them.
I would also argue that it's not just about placing the blame on Bernie. It is also now there is an instinctual desire by the media to attack the Democratic frontrunner, regardless of what the situation is. So you're going to see a lot more criticism of Biden going forward. And this, I also think, is a way of undercutting Biden, right? By saying that, like, look, this guy's just jumped out and he's declared war on Biden. I mean, that's the subtext of what they're saying, that the Democrats are in disarray in that situation.
100%. And to everything, I think, pretty much has been said. And I just want to say too, as a kind of general, like, if you are interested, let's say John King is actually concerned about Donald Trump being defeated, and he has some notion of making sure a bunch of voters don't bail on the Democratic nominee, trying to force, like, the most effective means of someone like Bernie is to simply talk about Trump, not to do a fake case for Biden. It is a purely negative case is the only way you could have a prayer of mobilizing those voters. Is essentially pretending that Biden doesn't exist and talking about ICE.
Joe likes Amtrak too.
I'm serious though. Like, this guy is price gouging during a pandemic.
Yeah.
Children are in concentration camps that he is actually probably making sure that the people who put them there get masks. The economy's imploding. Like, the idea that in addition to the complete non-recognition of reality about Bernie's base and the material conditions of the country and the endless trashing of Bernie, no matter how gracious he is, the idea that Bernie or his surrogates or anybody else is going to do anything for Biden by pretending that it's about Biden and nothing other than a purely negative vote is a fantasy, and should be, and the people who actually care about the result of defeating Trump should be the first ones to drop it.
And that's what the Democratic voters are saying.
I said that.
I mean, that's what every poll showed that 65% of the people going in to cast a ballot were doing it because they want to beat Trump, not because there's an issue set that they agree with the person that they're voting with. That's 65%. Basically said my number one
argument.
My number one priority.
And so all that.
So the issue is, and the electability argument is a second order response to, I just want to defeat Trump.
Yeah. And
that's it. And so the idea that one has to say Joe Biden is great to inspire people to vote against Trump, wrong. What Sanders needs to do is to basically say, regardless of what Joe Biden does, Donald Trump is worse. Because Donald Trump is worse. I mean, it is self-evident. There are going to be the immiseration that's going to come from the way that he handled this. And we don't even, I mean, I think the thing that, like, hopefully we will hear more of going forward, but I don't know how you even wrap your minds around this, is what does Donald Trump look like in a second term?
Yeah.
Like, what does Donald Trump look like when it's like he's fired. Apparently, according to not only has he fired a couple of IGs on he fired the slush fund IG now. Yeah. He's fired the IG who was looking at the intelligence community, but apparently he's got a list of like 5 or 6 other IGs that he's going to fire. These are the internal watchdogs of our apparatus of our government. He's firing these people now. What he does in a second term, forget about it. And so
no one's paying attention now. That's why.
Well, I mean, no one's paying attention now, but you can pay attention in February of 2021. And if he's the president, it doesn't matter.
So stop bitching about what Bernie does or does not say. I mean, I remember the most effective clip, and this is a micro level, right? 2016. I did one of my first clips about how horrible Hillary was and how justified people were on every level, foreign and domestic, to not want to vote for her, and then carefully laying out a case as to why I would still recommend in a swing state you vote for Trump. That's it. I mean, you vote for Hillary. That's it. Like this, like
that's not John King's mission. That's not John King's mission. It's
obviously not John King's mission, but I see it in a lot of, Democratic fan accounts. And if they're remotely serious at all, they need to shut up.
That is what is getting into the circle of trust.
Yes.
Right. I am going to meet you where your perspective is, and I'm going to acknowledge that your perspective is legitimate. And now I'm going to explain to you, I'm going to bring in other factors that are going to influence your opinion. They know, those people, like Neera Tanden knows,
right?
Because she's gone through that type of training. She didn't listen to it.
Those trainings.
And she probably paid for those trainings.
But doesn't listen to it.
But she didn't listen to it.
Well, okay. With that all being said, Bernie saying today in his speech that you can still vote for him in the primary because he wants to have delegates at the convention. I'm actually surprised that they didn't go after him on that. And I'm actually a little surprised that he did it and disappointed, honestly, because number one, like, listen, I'm pro reforming the DNC. You all know that. But the reality is that is going to be used as an excuse for blaming the Bernie voters for not turning out for Biden, for not, for sowing more division. It is what Bernie voters are now going to use as their mechanism to hold Biden accountable in whatever way or form, and then threaten a third party run or whatever is being floated right now on the internet again after 2016. But at the end of the day, I don't even think that those delegates, this is different than 2016. In 2016, those delegates had already raised money, bought their hotel rooms, thought there was going to be a floor fight, because there actually was a significant case to be made that Bernie Sanders did, Hillary Clinton did not reach the number needed to win the nomination. Of course, that's the same argument today, but Bernie Sanders is getting out of the election before half of the states have even decided to cast a ballot. So having some sort of divided DNC convention is a ridiculous argument for Bernie Sanders to be making at this point. Saying he wants the platform that we know can be ripped up in a second and no one really takes seriously. Right. I just don't think he's doing any service to the movement by putting them in a position now where they can cling to one more piece of hope for Bernie Sanders rather than thinking about what's really on the line right now. And, one more note just on third parties, cut it, guys, cut it. Unless you can take over the legislatures, the Republican legislatures in this country, and in the next 4 years, get on the ballot in all of these states, the third party is just like your easy way out of being like, I don't want to be involved with the Democrats and take over the Democratic Party because it's just too hard.
I think on local levels, we can rethink that, to be honest. I'm interested in state and local. Well, they did it in Vermont. Adolph Reed had an interesting effort in South Carolina. Well, look, no, Mickey, I mean, I don't know if that's the answer.
How does that pressure the presidential election?
Sure. And quote unquote, taking over the Democratic Party seems like a fool's errand too.
It's not though. I mean, listen, I know I'm going to beat the drumbeat on this, but there's like 20 people. There's literally like 20 people setting the rules, and we have not exposed them. We haven't put we have to know where our pressure points are. We can't just throw our arms up in the air when we're like, oh, it's too hard to read. It's too hard to understand who to go after. That's what we did with the IDC. People woke up and thought, all right, who's holding up the legislature in New York? Oh my God, it's just 8 stupid senators?
You didn't see my latest piece? Oh my organize. God, it's too hard. Throw your hands up. What's wrong with you?
Let's go start let's get on the ballot in 50 states. And all of them have different.
Absolutely. But at the same time, we need to be real that the Democratic Party has not shifted at all significantly in the last several years. And
what does that mean?
Effort is going to be even more difficult.
What are you measuring that?
What do you mean? What am I measuring that by?
Well, I mean, I'm curious as to what you're measuring that by.
Well, I'm measuring it by the leadership of the party,
but like expressed
the voting
by what?
base of the party, the policy of the party.
Well, the policies, policies have changed. I can tell you this. Okay, well, let me just. I mean, to the extent that the Democrats have had any ability to affect policy over the past 3 years. Obviously, they have.